Yeah, yeah. So, okay, meet me after the class. I'll have you. All right, please let's start the class. Before we go to our topic for today, we are just going to do a brief recap of what we did in our last class. And I gave assignment, right? Please, you manage my voice though. For those of you that know, I've been sick for 2 weeks. I'm just resuming again today. So you manage my voice. All right, so we are going to recap what we did in our last class. And last class we talked about what? Functioning ecosystem, right? Functioning ecosystem. And we said ecosystem is interaction between what and what? Living and what? Non-living components. Brother, I'll give you work today. The person that was supposed to control this is not here. So you sit here and be learning. So in case Operaman Network gives, you inform me. All right, so functioning ecosystem, right? And we said interaction between biotic and abiotic components of the environment, is it not? And we said the biotic component, is it the living or the non-living component? The living components, right? Example is what? Example, I group them into two, what and what? Autotrophs and what? Good. And we said abiotic are those ones that does not have life, is it not? The non-living components. Good. We moved on to food chain, right? And we said food chain is the complex relationship, feeding relationship, right? No. Is what? The linear feeding relationship between organisms, right? And we said among food chain and food web, which one? Hmm? To stay here, and all right, so the pyramid of numbers, we said if this is the pyramid of numbers, what will be at the bottom? Is it the producers, the primary consumers, secondary consumers, or tertiary consumers? What will be here in pyramid of numbers? Producers. Why? Because they are the highest in number, right? Then next to primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer, is it not? We went to pyramid of energy, and we said which one will have the highest energy? Is it primary or is it producers or consumers? Which one have the highest amount of energy? Producers, right? Why? Because you said it's the closest to the sun, is it not? Good. All right. What other thing did we look at in our last class? Law of what? Thermodynamics, first and second law. So I gave you assignments. If you did not do it, let me see your hand. If you did not do it, let me see your hand. In types of association, we said in symbiosis. Symbiosis is divided into how many? 3, right? Number 1 was what? Mutualism. Number 2, commensalism. And number 3, parasitism. Now, in secondary school, you were told that symbiosis is association between two organisms in that both of them are gaining, right? But we say that's not true. Symbiosis is just close association between two organisms of different species, is it not? Whether they are gaining or they are not gaining is none of our business. But when we now look at two organisms, two different, let's assume they are different species, two different species, is it up to 415? Come, is it up to 415? Did you see the update on the group? Did you see the update on the group? People should go out. You are live. People should go outside first. So symbiosis, we are looking at two organisms, different species in close contact, right? Close association. Now, if both species are gaining, what do we call that? Mutualism, right? I'm gaining, you're gaining, mutualism. Now, if the close association between the two organisms, if one is gaining, but the other one is not harmed, what do you call that? Commensalism, right? One is gaining, but the other one is not harmed. Parasitism, I'm gaining from you, and I'm harming you in the process. What do you call that? Parasitism. And the person or that species that is harming, that is gaining and harming the host is called the what? It's called the parasite. It's called the parasite. So that's that about symbiosis. So that's a quick review of what we did in our last class. So we're going to start the topic we have for today. And okay, we stop at parasitic adaptation. Okay, right. Parasitic adaptations. Let me off my. Presence of specialized boring organs for entering the host body. Are you not writing? You're looking at the camera. Eh? Okay, right. Oh. Number 3. ability to hold on to, ability to hold on to the surface of the host's body. Ability to hold on to the surface of the host's body. Number 4. Oh. Number 4, secretion of enzymes to dissolve tissues. Secretion of enzymes to dissolve tissues. Number 5, presence of a good means of reproduction. Presence of a good means of reproduction. Write this up on your pen. Tapeworm as an endoparasite of humans. Tapeworm as an endoparasite of humans. So just write that and drop your pen. Tapeworm as an endoparasite of humans. All right, so listen up, please. Look up, drop your pen. We're looking at parasitic adaptation. And we already know what a parasite is. But for those that were not there, or for those just coming, let me recap. A parasite is any organism that lives inside or on another organism, deriving benefits from that organism, but not only deriving benefits, harming that organism in return. That is a parasite. I gave an instance in the other class that parasitism is just like, okay, generally, if you get to exam hall, I said if your seatmate is there, you're there, and maybe your seatmate knows number 1 in the exam hall, you know number 2, and you copied number 1 from your seatmate copied number 2 from you. What do you call that association? Mutualism, right? Both of you are gaining, right? 1-1, you're gaining, good. But on the other hand, if your seatmate knows everything, you don't know anything, and you're just copying, as your seatmate is copying, you are transferring in peace. What is that called? Commensalism, right? You're gaining from the seatmate, but it's not harmed. But on the other hand, you're copying, you don't know anyone, your seatmate knows it all, and you know will calm down. Your seatmate is writing, you're transferring, and maybe he's trying to cover, or he's trying to turn when you're not done, and you struggle with him and tear the paper. That is what? Parasitism, right? Because you're gaining and you're harming the person in the process, is it not? So a parasite can live inside your body or on your body, deriving benefits and harming you in the process. Take, for example, Plasmodium. Is Plasmodium a parasite? No. No. Some of you have talent to, you can say yes and no and at the same time. Is Plasmodium a parasite? Yes. Is mosquito a parasite? Yes. Yes. What causes malaria? What causes malaria? Plasmodium, right? Not female Anopheles mosquito. The mosquito is just a vector, right? It's just a carrier. It's just a carrier. So the mosquito is carrying the Plasmodium, right? Good. So it is actually the plasmodium that causes malaria. Good. Now, if that plasmodium, okay, first let's start from the vector self. The female Anopheles mosquito comes, bites you, injects that plasmodium into you. The plasmodium is a living thing. Oh. Now, inside you, it will start to replicate, right? Now, if that parasite lacks certain features, it cannot survive inside you. So, parasites need some features for them to be able to adapt to the host body. Now, these are some of the adaptive features. One, organs of piercing the host. Look at mosquito. If mosquito cannot bite you, does not have something that will pierce you, first of all, can the plasmodium penetrate? No, right? So they must have organs of piercing the host body. Sometimes I will just catch mosquito and be pressing it. You will not see anything that is really strong there for it to cause such pain like that. But have you ever asked yourself, how are they able to do that? Because there's no iron in their head there that can penetrate there. How are they able to do that? So the skin what? The skin have tiny holes. So it's inside those tiny holes this guy have come again. One, organs of piercing the host body. They must have that. Number two, specialized boring organ. See, the boring here is not, oh, this place is very boring. That's not what they are talking about. Now, specialized boring organ. Boring here is what? Digging, right? And you're putting hole in something, is it not? So they should have that. Remember I said the parasite live inside or on. What causes ulcer? Helicobacter pylori, right? Bacteria, is it not? Microorganism. This microorganism, H. pylori, if it is gastric ulcer, the one in your stomach, ulcer is just wound now, is it not? It's just wound. If this H. pylori does not have that boring mechanism to bore hole, then it cannot put an injury in your wound, in your stomach there. That's by the way. So they must have specialized boring organs. Now, ability to hold on to the surface of the host intestine. How many of you have ever been attacked by worm? Yeah. Like worm. Okay, when I say attack, anytime I say Nigerians attack, your mind don't run go juju. Like, how many of you have, if you dewormed before? Let me see your hand. You never deworm. You know they won't get me. All right. What's the meaning of deworm? Child problem there. But you know what worm is talking about? You know what divine? You know what worm is, Abi? You said? I'm not worried. All right. So worm inside of you, inside your intestine, if it does not have the ability to hold fast, does not have what it takes to hold fast to your intestine, it cannot stay there. It will be flushed out. Is it not? Is it not? To be flushed out. Have you ever had the worm attack I was saying, and sometimes it be like something just bites you, like, you've not experienced something like that? It happened to me one day. It was a Sunday morning. I was on my way to church and it started. I could not move. Like, if you do, like, you just see that it's like hundreds, they are holding your intestine like this. If you want to move, it's like you want to cut that particular place. I have to stop and do hand for bike like this to come. I could not move again. But I can climb the bike. See, this guy, go carry your book, go to the back. Now, ability to hold on to the surface of the host intestine. Why should they have that ability? Because if they cannot hold fast to the host intestine for some time, they can be flushed out of the body, right? And they will not achieve their purpose of being there. Their purpose of being there is to destroy you, is to eat you, gain from you, harm you in the process. Secretion of enzymes to dissolve tissues. They have some enzymes that when they secrete in your tissues, they can dissolve that so they can get their nutrients. Have you ever asked yourself, housefly, how do they feed? Do you know housefly does not have teeth, right? But when it lands on your food, maybe it's, it can fly everywhere, go to the toilet, come, and you that like leaving your food open, they will not perch on your food. You come back and you say you're enjoying from it. Now, by the time they get on that food, they don't have teeth now. But what they do is they will secrete enzymes onto that food with that same mouth that they use from toilets. Now they secrete enzymes on that food, chemicals on that food, and the food will be turned to liquid. Then they have a mechanism. Don't worry, we are going to take it as a topic on its own. It has a mechanism of drawing the liquid food, like it's the liquid food just drawing that solid food be turned to liquid first. Now it has that as an adaptive feature because there's no teeth now. So it secrete the enzyme will break down the food substances. Same thing applies to the ones living on or inside our body. So when they secrete enzymes like that, they will digest the tissues there, they get nutrients from there. Next one, good means of reproduction. They will not say once they get into your system, and maybe you like sweets very well, or you like food very well, there is nutrients. Your stomach or your intestine is a fertile ground for them. They'll not be like, no, I must continue to the next generation. They'll not start reproducing. You'll be there. You just be, after eating 30 minutes, you don't hungry again. You're not feeding only yourself. And many but that's actually what happens. So they have good means of reproduction and they reproduce very fast. They reproduce very, very fast. Like some of you don't even know when you deworm blast. Like when you deworm blast, you don't know. Please, it's not until it's not an attack. Like I cannot move again. Like what happened to me that day. Deworm regularly. Yes. What? What we have different types. We have tapeworm, hookworm. We have different types of worm, which we want to take one now. So you see how it works. Any questions so far? Yes. Yes. No, for desert animals, desert is always very hot, right? Desert is without water, is it not? Dry. Now, the boring in the desert animals they're talking about is boring holes in the ground to stay there. Isolation. They will stay there, become inactive for some time to retain water and other stuff. So it's not boring in nervous system. They have their own means of, nervous system. Nervous system is communication between your whole body, the brain, and brains. They have their own means of communication. Yes. All right. They are not as advanced as we are now. Any other question here? Yeah. Okay, is asking if the parasites are important to us. Are they important to us? Parasites, they came from us and they harm us, right? Is it not? So actually they're not important to us. But in exam you can see what is the economic importance of, and I've explained before that when the question says economic importance, they are not talking about just the good part. If they say what is the economic importance of viruses, the economic importance of virus is rampant everywhere, causing diseases, right? Economic importance can be bad. So when they say economic importance, don't set your mind maybe in exam now and it's theory, and they've not said they not say write the economic importance of plasmodium. And you now, since there's economic importance and you want to write, you now carry extra sheet and be writing plasmodium is good for our health. Plasmodium give us vitamin plus no, the bad aspect of it. Yes. The what? Okay. What are they doing? Yes. I talked about something the other day. How you should I speak one? Let me explain something here. Guilty conscience. You see. All right. So I talked about something the other day. I said digestion starts from normally the mouth, right? Carbohydrates, and end in the small intestine. Those ones that are not digested, undigested food will move to the large intestine, right? In your large intestine, there are microorganisms there that will aid in digestion. Those ones there that aid in digestion of undigested food. Remember we said there are some things you cannot digest, like complex carbohydrates found in beans. Cannot digest it, so it will move to your large intestine. And once it gets to your large intestine, microflora, microorganisms are there. They will break the complex carbohydrate down and in the process release gases. That's the gas you release after eating beans. Don't ask me a question. All right, so the ones found here, they are beneficial because they are doing their job, they are breaking. But what do you actually gain from that, say? Gain from the one breaking the food, the complex carbohydrates in your large intestine. You said, if you don't break it, you give it out as undigested food now. The stress of excretion. All right, so we'll see the ones that are important and the ones that are not important. All right, not all microorganisms in your system are parasitic. Please take note of that. Not all the microorganisms in your system are parasitic. Any other one before we move on? Today we are not leaving yet till 9, can we? Good. Yes. Yes, we have beneficial and we have non-beneficial. Yes. All right, please, because of time, let's move on. Tapeworm, are we there? Right. There are two species of tapeworm. There are two species of tapeworm. There is a question they always bring here, like a constant question. There are two species of tapeworm which infect human beings. Which infect human beings. There are two species of tapeworm which infect human beings. They are, pronounce this for me. Ogini. Tenia solium, in bracket, pork tapeworm. Oh God. And Tenia saginata, in bracket, beef tapeworm. Please underline, you know this is scientific name. Tenia solium and Tenia saginata. So write them in bracket the way it is written there. Tenia solium and Tenia saginata. Are we there? Full stop. The Scolex, do you call it Scolex or Scolex? Has hooks and suckers. Has hooks and suckers. Hooks and suckers, which are used in fastening itself to the lining of the host intestine. Fastening itself. We're talking about one scolex now. So that's why we're using itself. All right. Have you written that? Please, the host intestine. See, Joyce, you're the one that was asking this question over the weekend. What's the difference between this and this? You said one shows what? Singular and plural. They both show possession here. Now look at this. Host intestine. Singular, right? This host, this singular. But if the apostrophe comes after the S, plural, right? So this one, many of them, they are intestine. Is it not? Good. So if the apostrophe is coming before the S, singular. If it's coming after the S, plural. Do you understand that one? This one is not in biology. You don't ask if it's English. Don't ask. We've not started our topic for today. This one I'm just completing what we were doing last time. So please, let's be fast.